Good morning from Cooking with Gerry, another early morning breakfast. But stay tuned because there's leftovers and it'll serve for us for our next meal. And there might be a variety show segment at the end. So let me show you. First of all, here is the leftovers. It's amaranth and Kaniwa seed. They cooked for about 10 minutes in water. The water boiled and then I turned the heat down as low as possible while still keeping that boil. Then after those 10 minutes I added brown rice that I had washed. I couldn't wash the seeds, Kaniwa and Amaranth, because they're too small. They fall through the holes of my strainer unless I soak them overnight. Then they get bigger from having absorbed the water. But I didn't do that, so they're not washed. And then there's some virgin olive oil and some salt. And then they cooked all together for about 25 minutes. And it's been sitting here for about 15 minutes. And here, this is, first went in was small pieces of pumpkin. Right here you can see the orange. Also with 2 farm fresh eggs that were laid about 2 days ago I got from my neighbor. And so those cooked for less than 2 minutes in a bit of virgin olive oil and sunflower seed oil. And then I turned the heat off. I added the rice with the Kaniwa and the amaranth, and then I also added some nuts and seeds. 2 Brazil nuts, 6 almonds, and 8 pistachios, and a small handful of pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. I chopped them up with a knife. I added a little bit of salt, 2 pinches, and then a little bit of butter and extra virgin olive oil. So that's breakfast, and we'll be back really soon to show you the next meal using the leftovers. It's lunchtime and we're using the leftovers from this morning. A friend is here for lunch, so what I had planned for just one person, now I have to make it into a meal for 2 people. And there's quite a bit, so it'll be fine. I'm going to add more vegetables than I normally would, feeding 1 person compared to feeding 2 people. Similar cooking method we've done many times. I have about half a cup of water and 2 tablespoons of virgin olive oil on low heat, and it's been heating now for about 2 minutes. So the guideline, whatever's going to take longest to cook goes in first. That'll be celery, and then right after will be carrot, and then there's also a little bit of cauliflower. So let's get started. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of celery, and I like to use the leaf because I think it's really good for the digestion, helps, lots of fiber, and the gut flora love the fiber, and it's really important to have active gut flora to help things move through. So fairly small pieces. I want to keep the cooking time quick, and that's good. So that's going to go into the frying pan. I lost a piece. And And the more you put in the frying pan, the longer it takes to cook, because there's more food that needs to be heated and cooked. But as I've said many times, I prefer my veggies to be crunchy, so it won't take too long. If you like your veggies to be softer, you'll have to increase the cooking time. And this friend who's here, she's also health conscious, so she'll prefer as well the crunchier, less cooked vegetables, which provide more nutrition. So that's the carrot. No, that's the celery. Here's the carrot, already peeled and washed. And the carrot I am going to leave fairly big pieces, because I find it enjoyable sometimes to have a nice big piece of vegetable. So I'm going to leave them fairly big, and this way I can put them also in the frying pan at the same time. The bigger the piece, the longer it takes to cook. The orange gives it a nice color, added to the green. And while this is cooking, I have another top 10 list for you to share with you. You may have heard of Deepak Chopra. He's a doctor. He's got lots of books, lots of YouTube videos. He wasn't the presenter that I watched to get this top 10 list. It's a young man. I'm not sure where he's from. I couldn't tell from the accent. Perfect English, but a different kind of accent than I have, North American accent. So it was him, about an 11-minute video, and I just checked to see if I could share his YouTube channel name, and all I could find was his name, Albert. So if you want to watch his video, put Deepak Chopra top 10 health tips, and then look for Albert. So we're going to do that while this cooks, and some useful information. I don't know if they're in list of what's more important, but let's just begin. Number 10, meditation. I believe we've spoken about this already. Meditation is important to give yourself a break during a normally hectic and stressful life. Meditation helps you to find space between your thoughts. It doesn't have to be 6 hours of meditation. Even a minute of meditation, 1 minute of taking a break from the stress of everyday life, will calm your whole body down. You'll bring yourself from the fight or flight mode into the rest and digest mode, which is very useful, very helpful for the body to have those moments of peace and calm. So meditation. Number 2, maybe I started with number 10. So number 10, meditation. Number 9, avoid processed food. We've spoken about that already. Here's the cauliflower. Processed food, really unhealthy, and I would go so far as to not even call it food. It's calories, it's food-like substance. But one suggestion I have given before, if you can look at the food and you can tell which plant or animal it came from, then it's probably healthy. If you can't determine which plant or animal it came from, then it's been processed and it's likely unhealthy. Number 8, express and process your emotions. I was reading a book by Gabor Mate. I apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly. And the underlying theme of that book was, if you keep your emotions bottled up without sharing them, that's what causes many diseases. So express and process your emotions. Number 7, yoga, a practice, a relaxation practice also gets you in touch with your mind and your body and your breathing. Number 6, consider a vegetarian diet, or at least mostly vegetarian. Especially with this kind of meat that we have coming from what I call factory farming, where the animals don't get to live as nature intended. That affects the animal, which will affect you who are eating the animal. Number 5, if you are over 50 years old, consider getting a colonoscopy, just to make sure everything's okay. Number 4, eat chicken over red meat. The chicken being a smaller animal, less brain capacity, it'll be much easier for your body to assimilate and turn into human if you eat the smaller animals. Here in this country, a lot of guinea pig is eaten. It's a delicacy. It's very expensive, but it's part of many menus in restaurants. It's a small animal, good vibration for human absorption. Number 3, breathe mindfully. I believe that breathing is the most important aspect when considering overall health. I have been practicing yoga for more than 22 years, and a lot of the focus with yoga is breath concentration and making your breaths as efficient and useful as possible. As we move from childhood into adulthood, and even before that, we start to learn how to breathe incorrectly. When we're infants, we breathe from the belly. But as we learn stress, we start to breathe up here. So try and bring your breathing as deep as possible, taking a few moments to focus on your breath and allow your belly to rise and fall with each breath. Even one breath, mindful, will relax your body. Imagine 1 minute or 10 minutes of just focusing on your breathing. Very useful for overall health. Number 2, no, that was number 3. Number 2 is wake up early. And to be able to wake up early, it means you also have to go to bed early, just to make sure you're getting enough sleep. A lot of people like to sleep in, mainly because I think they've stayed up late the night before, whatever it is you're doing. So waking up early is useful for overall health. And there's one more, but first here's the leftovers from this morning, kind of like a porridge. That's going to go in for the final minute, just so that it can heat through, and there is a little bit of water from the beginning, and it will absorb all that water. So the last one is visualize. There is a fairly popular book called The Secret, and they speak a lot about visualizing what you want to obtain in your life. Whatever your objectives are, visualize receiving those objectives, but also visualize how you might go along the path to realize your objective. So visualize. So that was the top 10 according to Albert, young fella. I watched another video of his as well, same kind of thing, but Dr. Rhonda Patrick. He watched a few of her videos. I don't know how many he watched. I apologize, I don't know. And he gave a similar top 10. So if you want to listen to him say those top 10, go to YouTube and you'll find it with the title I gave at the beginning. So this is almost done. This will be a very nutritious meal, and to go along with this I have this chocolate nut spread I made this morning using fig and dates as the sweetener. Has pure chocolate that was solid. It has butter, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, peanuts, cashews, and walnuts. And I have yesterday's homemade bread. So this will be an awesome lunch for myself and my friend. And I am going to add some salt. I normally add 2 pinches, but since there's 2 of us, I'll add 4 pinches. And she can put more if she wants. And the final touch, extra virgin olive oil. I believe it's important not to cook any kind of extra virgin oil. Always put it at the end. Give that a little mix. And before I forget, I mentioned in the first segment there might be a variety show, and I believe there will be. I started this morning, and we'll continue later today. So please stay tuned for that variety show. So that's done. I am just going to show you what it looks like. Here was the top 10 list I was reading from, and right there, that's the dinner, lunch. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll show you also what the homemade bread looks like. Really tasty, lots of nutrition. Fairly simple. I would like to repeat something I said once or twice. If you enjoy this food, someone sees you eating this food and asks you about it, please teach them, because we need more people to eat healthier. Healthy body means healthy mind, means better choices. If you're not comfortable teaching, please give them the name of the video you watched so that they can watch and learn and help themselves eat healthier and who they cook for. It's variety show time. We're building another wooden platform shelf. I'm not sure what to call it. It can also be a bench. I'll show you. This is the one I made 2 days ago using reused wood, and I'm using it to support my plants. Here is the next shelf platform. You can see here there's some dried concrete. These pieces were used as a cement containment to make a round table out of cement. So I have to clean them, remove the nails. You can see the underside is not so pretty, but that'll be the side that's hidden. And this piece, which will be the top, it's got a split right here, so I might need to support that, but I might not. So that's today's project, and I want to show you, this is a repurposed wheelbarrow. I used some thick metal wire to support the legs, and here I needed extra support because it was unbalanced. And I'm just using it now to hold firewood. I'll cover it with a tarp later. And a couple of quick updates from previous variety shows. Here are the turmeric plants doing well, and the avocado that I started about 4 months ago. He had 2 days, or she, I don't know, 2 days of a caterpillar eating the leaves, which luckily I saw and removed it. And the squash plants from Variety Show 1, check them out. This is the biggest one. This is the mystery plant that I found growing in the compost. It's doing really well. I think it's pumpkin, because pumpkin is fairly common here as part of a menu, food, lunches, dinners. And they're doing really well. I had to make their space bigger, so I did that a few days ago. And looking forward to seeing the first squash show up and then grow and then eating. So I'll be back halfway through this new variety show project. Quick status report partway through. Here I have the wood pieces that I cleaned. You can see this one had a little bit of rotting, and when I was cleaning it there was a petroleum smell. So I'm not sure where that came from. And I found this too. It's almost separated, but I'm going to use this in this way, and that way I can put a nail through and hold this piece together, and maybe another small nail. And this piece here that's almost coming apart will be held together as I put it this way, and one of these two will be closing that gap, and maybe a nail or two, and it should be fine. So back to work, and next segment it will be finished. Oh, I put it in the sun for about 3 hours just to dry, and I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. Good news, we finished it. I'll show you the finished product. Here it is, and it's strong enough that I can stand on it, so that's good enough for me. And I don't know if I mentioned, I don't need it to last very long, just the cycle of these tomato plants, because that's going to be their platform. But let me show you. Here's 2 nails that I used to close the gap, the crack that was in that piece of wood, and I put this piece in the middle just to reinforce it, to maintain the width of these 2 support pieces. And where was that other one? Yeah, right here. Excuse me. I put a piece here just to support this crack, and the other potential issue was right here, but I have 1 nail, you can see it came out, and I put 1 more nail right here just to hold that split together. So let me put this down for a second just so that I can move this small crate and show you. There it is. It's not going to be in that position. I'll move it back to where the other ones are. Need to make sure that the plants have shade during the midday sun. And there's a big tree above us which will protect the plants from the rain. Sometimes the raindrops are really big and can damage, but I think I will still make some kind of roof just to protect them. So thanks for watching this variety show.